Okay, here we go. We're doing another video. We just made one for the YouTube, which was a smashing success. This one is for you as an Insiders Club member. I just wanted to talk real briefly today. When it comes to the Insiders Club, there's a lot of friendship and love there, but it's also, I think, people that are very much on the practical level. The guy wrote to me today, what do I do for high blood pressure? And I said, oh, celery juice. What juice recipes do you have for that? And he goes, well, can you buy that at the store? And so we've got a lot of people that are just, we've got the people for the video that we just made, which was the higher levels of consciousness on YouTube. And then we've also got just what I want to do is honor people, because we've both been working in the health for a long time. We've got a lot of great experience with helping people to get well. So when the guy said, do I buy the celery juice or do I make it? I thought, wow, okay, so we've got people here from every different level, because you just don't buy celery juice. That's not something that's out there. You make it yourself. And that is really great for the heart, you know, the celery juice and for the blood. But you know, we've got people from every end of the scale. We've got like endurance athletes, so we've got spiritual students, and we've got people that are overweight. We did a little bit of this yesterday, but what can we do to help people to start like the most basic stuff? Where do you start with your clients when these people are down and out, stage 4, about to leave? I mean, it's all very specific, I realize, but where does your mind go first? Are you thinking this person's dehydrated, this person's depressed, this person got traumatized? I mean, where do you look first to start giving this person a place to launch off from?
Man, that's... well, it's really simple, but it's really complex. It's simple in the sense that whenever someone's in front of me, I am empty. I'm in a state of emptiness. And so the first thing that I am going to do is make sure that I'm not looking from a space of any preconceived notions or ideas. That way, I can really see with an open mind, with an open eye, like see clearly, not through these eyes, but through an internal eye, and really feel out the organism, so that I can get an understanding of where the root is.
Okay, so now with a lot of people watching this video, what are some of the roots of illness? 101 here.
Okay, yeah, so the most common root of illness, I always look at things a little deeper. So for me, it really is a lack of forgiveness. The physical ailments usually come and stem from that period. That's just where the most common cause comes from. When you can actually stop and you can get that person with you in your presence and you can continue to work with them, it will either come up right away or it'll come up very shortly thereafter. It'll present itself.
As you're working
as you move forward.
The unforgiven resentments?
They have an issue that they have not forgiven themselves on inside towards themselves or towards somebody else. Or like I said yesterday, sometimes it's toward our Creator. You know, like they feel the Creator has forsaken them in some situation. You know, the victim role comes in. When you become a victim, you quickly generate dis-ease within your body, because it's the best way for you to validate that you're a victim, to create a cancer for yourself, or to create a terminal disease, because then you can say to everybody around you, you see, I told you, God was not on my side. I've been abandoned. I've been, you know, looked down upon. I've been given the shaft. I've, you know,
victim mentality. There's levels of victim mentality. Some of it's more subtle and unconscious, and some of it's like, hey, this world is just unfair, Margaret, you know, that kind of thing, and they talk about that. Well, what's interesting about that is I want to point this out. Dr. Hawkins, who's one of my favorite spiritual teachers, he said, you know, there is no disease without unconscious guilt. So same kind of thing, really, like I'm guilty, I'm bad, I did something wrong, whether it was from way back or just real recently, and it's sort of festering.
Yeah.
So that's a real huge, like we can dance around food all day long, which is extremely helpful as far as like living electricity, being able to help you to wake up, feel better, and snap out of a victim mentality, no doubt.
Yeah.
To feel a little more empowered, to get a little control.
From my experience, if somebody does have a victim dis-ease taking place within them, and I put them on a diet that is really purifying and would work very easily if you didn't have that, it tends to go along with it, and it works against them. So, like, in other words, like, say somebody is, you know, eating a standard American diet, whatever. You know, you take them on the same exact protocol that you maybe put 500 people on that before, and it has worked, you know, consistently. You take that person who has a victim complex and they are in an extreme state of guilt, and you put them on that diet that would work. Instead of it working, not only does it not work, but it actually will generate and create a aversion or allergic reaction in them, and then they will blame that ingredient that you're using. You know, say you're using, just for the sake of an example, like say you're using chlorella. They'll point towards the chlorella and they will say that that has some kind of ingredient in it that is causing this or that. Then that'll play along with the guilt, and then they can enhance the dis-ease, and then they can go deeper down the rabbit hole. So, you know, that's why I believe, like what you said, what Mr. Hawkins says, that, you know, dis-ease really is about, it's about victims, it's about guilt, it's about shame, it's about blame, really.
So someone has to really want to change, because some of these patterns are very deeply embedded, and they've been going on for 20, 30, 40 years before they've manifested themselves in some type of diagnosable disease. But that's the thing, the thing they say about the cancer, you know, is like, you didn't just get cancer yesterday. You've been building cancer in your body for years. And now, but the problem is, and that's one of the things about the medical thing, is like, well, now you're going to go into super victim mode with the medical thing, and then they're really going to just tear your body up with all their crap. It's better just to, you know, you've really been building cancer for 20 years. If you stay the hell out of the medical thing, you'll go another 20. But you go into the medical thing, they'll cook you, burn you, fry you, and tear you up, and you'll be out of here in less than 5. You know, so that's why you know, I have a lot of friends a lot of medical doctors watch these videos, and they think I'm the man for sure, you know. But so I'm not trying to say that, you know, if you get your arm cut off, don't go get it sewn back on. But you know, like, there is some other. You want to be looking at this. You want to be looking at the guilt. You want to be looking at the fear. You want to be looking for underlying issues. And this is why we do true healing work, and not just go, oh, well, here's some kind of prescription for your diet. Drink orange juice and call me in the morning. This is like, we're working at the level of the food, we're working at the level of the guilt and the resentments and the shame, and really finding a way to forgive those who we perceive have hurt us, but they can't. We can't really be hurt, because we have that freedom of mind.
Nobody can hurt you. That's the honest truth.
Even if they kill you, they can't hurt you.
It's your perception and how you view it. Yeah.
And it would have to be a victim thing. He killed me, oh, poor me, you know, or this person shot me in the leg. But you know, you can have a different perspective. I don't even want to go into the karma thing, but we do have that freedom to choose to be empowered, and when we are that, then the life energy flows. Victim, guilt, shame, grief is just like it's like cutting the wires. It's like cutting the power source, or at least, you know, it's like corrosion, tangling it, stripping off the rubber so that everything's just a mess and there's no cohesive harmony.
Everything is working against you, so, you know, it's like then you have short circuiting in the wiring from in your emotional body, in your psychic body, and all of these bodies, and then you know, you've manipulated yourself into a place of you know, like you're then vulnerable because you're seeking to validate the victim. So you're putting yourself in the vulnerable zone, so that all kinds of things can hit you and affect you and hurt you,
and so justify your perception. So you do really create your reality.
Indeed, yeah, true.
So what can we do to create a more cohesive, harmonious, emotional, mental body? We know what to do about the physical thing, right? Eat the living raw foods in simple, easily digestible combinations. So we've already gone over that a million times, but now how do we create harmony with our heart?
Forgiveness.
Right, total forgiveness.
Extreme forgiveness.
Seeing the innocence of everyone and everything.
Yeah.
And then the eye opens. And so you see through these eyes and you see, well, that SOB did this and that did that and then they did that to me, and you got all this whole big thing. You got like bags and bags on your shoulders of weight. But if you really were to awaken and see and really see deeply, you would see, oh, they're just as more lost and confused than I am. You would see that they're basically lost, confused, and ignorant. Because they're shooting people or robbing people or hurting people. And they're hurting themselves. So they have not the gift, which is life. They take away the gift of life from themselves and it makes them worse. And then they do more bad things. So really, even the most heinous criminal, if with the right eye and forgiveness, you could see that they're innocent, but just ignorant of the truth.
Cut themselves off from the feeling, from the main
source.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and they're in hell.
Yeah, that's why it's never appropriate, really, to blame anybody or to criticize anybody or to belittle anybody or to judge anybody. You know, I mean, the whole judge thing is so real and so appropriately true that we miss the point. And you know, we have this idea of don't judge. He's judging, she's judging, but there's more to it than that. You know, it's a real, actual law of effect and cause and effect. And it's not so much about pointing to who's judging, who's not judging. It's more about going inside yourself and really looking at that, what it means for you, because it really is a law that is the difference between experiencing peace and not experiencing peace for yourself. So it's not about looking outside and keeping track of who's a judging person, who's not a judging person, because that's not really what it was ever about. It was really a personal thing, you know, about not judging on a personal level so that you can be free, so you can experience peace and harmony.
So thou shalt not judge, because if you do, you're just screwing yourself. You're cutting yourself off.
From joy.
So from being, like the holier than thou is actually not holier than thou. Because you can't have that love for the innocence of all. And then that brings joy. Like, oh, anyone can, it doesn't rob you of your joy. Because you're not going, well, geez, I can't believe you would do that. And then there goes your joy.
Because you're policing others.
Right.
And that's not what it's about.
That's a lower level of vibration.
That's kind of like, you know, where you go and where you are if you're not at peace and not in your power. You know, when you enter into your own power by having a system of checks, you know, for yourself, where you're checking and reviewing your own thoughts, words, actions, and putting the spotlight inward on yourself, then you're taking the power back into your own hands, and then you don't have the same need to criticize and look what others are doing because you're at peace. Peace doesn't look outward. Peace looks inward. When you have discord and conflict, you're constantly looking outward because you're trying to find validation that you're okay and there's others that are doing the same. Others are making mistakes. Others are making errors. Others have problems. So you're validating so that you're not alone. You know what I'm saying?
So our inner conflict is why we look outside ourselves for the external conflict. We watch the news, we watch the wars. So, before I forget, I was going to say the great sage Eric Clapton, before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. And so what you were talking about wanted me to bring up just awareness. That's why I love meditation. That's why I love this deep self-honesty that I'm on, walking through the fire of the unresolved feelings, which I circumvented for years, you know, like, oh, smoke this, eat that, entertain this, exercise. I mean, there's a billion ways to escape that inner conflict. But there's only one way to get to the ocean, the oasis of peace, and that is through the fire of your own unresolved stuff. So if you understand that, you can begin the process of taking that courage, and like, you could sit there for days. I know this. You could sit there for days on end in a very unpleasant state of being. Then again, I'm beginning to think that you can also change it instantaneously as well, through a higher level of understanding. So many times I've had to go through this fire, but it also feels like a diffusion process. Like I'm sitting there with it, and just eventually it wears itself out, and it's gone. But
often share with people the idea that we're in control of our karma. Obviously, we created it. We're the creator of our own karma. So, like, if you could look at it in the sense that, like say you hurt somebody today, and then karma comes back in a season to reap its harvest for what you have sowed in the sense of your actions, your thoughts, your words. And so when it comes back, if you have the ability to change your energy field, which is your astral body, your psychic body, your feeling body, and your thinking body, you can change them through love, devotion, service, concentrated, honest improvement. And so when so you basically, your karma has an address. So when that postman, so to speak, comes to deliver that to your home, it's like you have moved, you've changed addresses. So when it comes to deliver, it's like, this is for Dan McDonald. Somebody else is in your home, and it's like, Dan McDonald no longer lives here anymore.
he moved on to Love Street.
So what happens? Return to sender. Return to sender, return to source, return back to the place of dissolving, the place of freedom, liberation.
Love dissolves karma.
Love dissolves karma when it is amplified through service and through devotion for not just yourself but others. And so you have control over your karma. So if you have done something wrong, you can change the course of your karma, and you can soften it, and you can create a situation where it comes to you and it's returned to sender, or it is dissolved in the sense of being purified through your love. And that's why they say love conquers all. Love is the most powerful force in the existence of all things. It's true.
So love is the cure for disease.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, see how like intense it can be. Like we're talking about, like, oh, take this supplement, or take this diet program, or eat this whatever. We're a little bit, I mean, we love the food trip, but man, we're just going to a whole nother level. And we've known this ourselves, but for me, I haven't had a dialogue to be able to bring this forth until now in a way where I feel like that's why I love Tavis so much, because, and I get the same kind of feeling from Lou too. We can go to those places where this stuff is like, it's like, I hope that, I mean, I'm just going to say that for me, this is common sense, but I've also been doing this work for quite some time. But to say that love is the answer, it's not just an airy-fairy cliche. It's not just a meme or a slogan. It's actually like, it's not a bumper sticker, man. It's like the truth. So for those who are having, and that's why it's like when people see the recipes and they drink the juice, it's just saying, I love myself. Yes, there are physical laws, but if you're mad as hell and resentment and angry and guilty, and you're trying to change, like, okay, I'm gonna just drink this juice because I got cancer and I need to change and all this crap, if you're not gonna drink the juice with love, I mean, the one dude drinks the juice with love, and 3 weeks later he's cured. The other dude's 5 years later still trying to drink the juice, still trying to go raw, but hasn't forgiven and hasn't found love. That's the underlying power. It's the yes of healing, or the guilt and shame, which is the no of contraction. So it's either expanding into love or contracting into fear. cultivating courage, and then like walking through those fears, and just not being afraid of fear. So many people are afraid of fear. They're afraid to feel it, sense it, but once you sense it and you walk forward and you do your duty and your diligence by either getting up on stage, many people are scared to death of public speaking. But imagine what would happen if you went up there and did that, and then you'd be like, well, I'm not dead. I sweat a little, my armpits smell, but I'm still alive. You'd be one step. You'd be like, oh, public speaking it doesn't kill you. But so many people can't even get to that point where they have the courage to actually step on the stage. So, and that could be true for so many things. You might be afraid to actually tell your wife how you feel, or you might be afraid to tell your kids, or you might be able to tell your boss, hey, look, man, you're like breathing down my neck here, bro. You're afraid to lose your job. But if you actually went to your boss and said, hey, man, just explain yourself a little bit. Your boss will have more respect for you. You won't be dead. You won't lose your job, and you'll have busted through another one of those fears which have been plaguing you for 3 years. You've been wanting to tell your boss, look, man, you're breathing down my neck and it's affecting my work. If you have the courage to actually, be true to yourself, like we talked about in the other video, then you'll be empowered that way. So facing those fears leads to your empowerment, and then it gives more courage, and the courage is the prerequisite to the love. See, so we can get that love going, we can just open it up and become so powerful, and then we can change any aspect of our lives. And that's just love. It's like we have two choices. Disease, which stems from fear, or health and joy and bliss, which stems from love. I know what I've chosen for many, many years, and I get to continue to blossom into that. And then the ultimate is just unconditional love, for real. Making that choice. It's like a choice you make. You know what to do, and then as the heart is purified by making those choices and the law reveals itself to you more, it makes it a lot easier to continue to go, oh, well, duh. Love is the only option. I think we just cured, we can even say that word now. Well, this is the Insiders Club, so it won't be on the YouTube. The FDA probably won't come and find me, because none of you are going to turn me into the FDA, right, to say we have cured disease. And the cure is love. Amen? Yeah. Amen, Jackson? Well, I enjoyed this video series for sure. We did one on YouTube. We did one for the insiders here. I appreciate, there's no way I could tell you. I always tell you this. I say it every day, but I know that you guys are my backbone here. And I'm going to be committing a lot more time and energy to the Insiders Club because of the commitment that you've shown me and the love that you continually throw at my way. It's like a real love and a true understanding in the emails from the Insiders Club. So thanks a lot. Let's all thank Tavis for spending his time with us to be able to be the conduit to open up this dialogue and get the DTM to step up another level here to be able to share with this type of dialogue and information and inspiration, which is courage, strength, love, peace, wisdom for you and your family. So thank you very much. I'll be in touch again very, very soon. Cool. Good job, Tavis. Peace, y'all. We love you.